This is a president who is confident in the timing and the decision here. The White House scrambling a little bit today to put this together. No indication in terms of gossip or rumors swirling beforehand that this was coming. But clearly the president knew it was coming. He said that Nikki Haley had told him as much as 6 months ago that she was getting ready to leave. Also, we saw Nikki Haley there douse something of a speculative boomlet that had occurred in Washington over the past year or so, that she might run for president herself as early as 2020. Possibly a primary challenge to President Trump himself. Nikki Haley saying there, no, she's not going to run for president in 2020, and she's going to be campaigning for President Trump. So extinguishing that little bit of speculation that she would somehow become a never-Trumper late in her career. Nikki Haley instead thanking the president, praising his leadership, praising the president's family, and yet not offering any specific reason for her departure here and the timing of it, other than she believes it's time and she believes in term limits. So ultimately, we don't really have a reason for this departure other than that Nikki Haley herself felt it was time to go, guys.
Yeah, Eamon, Javers, stay with us as we continue to cover all of this. We're going to bring in CNBC contributor Michelle Caruso-Cabrera as well, who's with us on the phone. Michelle, President Trump also really juxtaposing in terms of his rhetoric, Iran versus North Korea and developments with both of those countries.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he puts them in the same category, and as has Nikki Haley recently. I would add to what Eamon was saying. I mean, what you saw there today was her incredible skill as a diplomat and as a politician. Remember, she supported Marco Rubio during the primaries, and yet she ended up working for President Trump, something you might not have expected, because he can be vindictive against people who do not support him, as we all know. Additionally, when she was at the UN, she got China and Russia to back sanctions against North Korea, something that we've long struggled to do. So that's an incredibly important move and skillful move that she demonstrated at the time. And as for what she's going to do next, obviously I take her at her word when she says she doesn't want to run a primary challenge against President Trump. And considering his popularity with Republicans right now, it probably wouldn't be a good idea. But, you know, there are people who say conservative circles have long talked about her as a potential presidential candidate. And there's even talk, what if she ended up being on the vice president spot for the second time around? A minority woman who took down the Confederate flag in her state might be an interesting juxtaposition against the president.
She's also only 46 years old, Michelle, and she said she believes in term limits. She was governor, though, of South Carolina, it looks like, for 6 years, in this position as UN ambassador for only 2.
Yeah, so I would say, one, it's pretty common to see people leave after the 2-year mark. This presidency, seeing people leave even sooner than that, so she's held on for a long time. But 2 years is often the mark, and it's an incredibly difficult and time-consuming position. I met with her a couple of times in off-the-record settings where she met with journalists, women journalists in particular, and it's a grueling schedule, especially considering what is on the foreign policy plate for the country at the moment and for the president, with both North Korea and Iran.
Yeah, and Eamon, I think it's already sort of being looked at, the fact that this is now Nikki Haley, Ambassador Haley, will be the 15th departure under the Trump administration of a cabinet member or an advisor. In terms of the turnover there, it looks like these numbers are continuing to rack up. How should we think about that?
Well, I think you can put this one in a separate category, though. I mean, you've seen a lot of hostile departures from this White House, people leaving fuming, people fired by tweet, all of the chaos that we've seen in this administration. This one, I think, to Michelle's point, sort of fits a natural ebb and flow in terms of timing anyway, although traditionally you'd wait till after the midterms to make an announcement like this and sort of reshuffle for the second half of the first term. It feels like about the time that other officials have served in positions like this. And then the question is now, what does the president want in terms of a successor? You saw him say there that he's going to pick a successor in about 2 or 3 weeks. Is it going to be another high-profile political figure, or is it going to be somebody who's more of a diplomatic insider to come in and take that role and leave the high-profile politics to Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, and John Bolton, the National Security Advisor here at the White House? There's a lot of ways the president can go with this, and all of that will impact his future in terms of China, North Korea, and all of the foreign policy issues that are before this administration.